I mean, I don't have a family, and I definitely don't have faith. So I get definitely not part of the solution. Maybe I am. No, here's the thing.
In this video, Bill Mah engaged in a heated debate with Dr. Phil on Real Time with Bill Mah about family, religion, and how these values could potentially improve the country. The conversation quickly became intense, with each side making compelling arguments. Dr. Phil argued that family values and faith are essential foundations for a stable society, providing the moral framework needed to address many of America's social issues. In contrast, Mah, known for his secular views and critiques of organized religion, questioned whether faith and traditional family structures alone are enough to solve today's challenges, emphasizing a more systemic, non-religious approach to societal improvement. Dr. Phil challenged Mah directly, suggesting that without family and faith, Mah might be missing a part of the solution. This remark struck a chord with viewers, many of whom saw Dr. Phil's perspective as more grounded. Clips from the exchange quickly circulated online, with many expressing support for Dr. Phil's stance. And once again, Dr. Phil completely defeated Bill Mah on his own show. If you're interested in more content like this, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you won't miss future debates and discussions on the topics that shape our world.
What I think we disagree a lot on is that you think family and faith are a big fix to the problems we have. I mean, I don't have a family, and I definitely don't have faith. So I get definitely not part of the solution. Maybe I am. No, here's the thing. I'm just saying that you come from a family. I come from one, true. So don't tell me you don't have a family. Well, they're all gone now except my sister, yes. But you got but I didn't start a new family, is what I'm saying. And I'm an atheist, so I don't have religion. And I think the country's moving in my direction, by the way. More people than ever are single, and more people than ever don't have a religion. Now, you may think that's a bad thing and why we're going to hell in a handcart, but maybe it's also part of the solution. And it's certainly just where people want to be.
It's clear that Dr. Phil's reaction to Bill Maher's arguments reflects the frustration many feel toward Mah's position. Some argue that Mah seems oblivious to the ways other countries shape media and public opinion, subtly infiltrating cultural narratives. It's baffling, they say, that Mah appears to believe his views are validated simply because a majority of people are following similar trends, despite a lack of critical thinking or updates to their perspective. Dr. Phil's expression captures this sentiment perfectly. His look conveys a mixture of disbelief and frustration, almost as if he's holding back from calling out what many viewers see as a stubborn ignorance. It's a moment that resonates with those who feel Mah's stance lacks depth, with Dr. Phil seemingly embodying the collective facepalm of those who think there's more to the debate than simply agreeing with popular opinion. For those following, it's this exact dynamic that's fueling such a strong reaction online, where many viewers feel that Dr. Phil's stance speaks to something fundamental, and that Mah is completely missing the point.
I mean, when you say religion is the fix to this, I didn't say that. Have you seen the Middle East? I didn't say that. Yeah, you did in the book. No, I did not. What do you say about family and faith, not the fix? I said that for the first time in our country's history, membership in an organized religion has dropped below 50%. Now, here's why that's a problem, because that was one of the reasons that families got together at least once a week and spent quality time together. The reason it's dropped below 50% is because the reason they usually joined the church was because they wanted to have their children christened or baptized or whatever the ceremony was in that particular church. And our birth rate has dropped to 1.6. We need 2.1 in order to sustain the infrastructure that we have. So we need immigrants. We just need to know who they are. A very reasonable position. I'm very pro-immigration, as are you, right?
That's a common sentiment among many on the right. Immigration itself isn't the issue, but rather the need for better systems to identify and vet those coming in. Of course, many agree that there's been a recent surge, but the main point is about implementing smarter, more efficient processes to manage it responsibly. Hearing figures like Bill Mah talk on the subject can feel frustrating to some, as it seems they miss this nuanced perspective. It's hard to understand why such a straightforward point, addressing the how of immigration rather than just the amount, isn't always acknowledged in these discussions. Hearing him talk this way honestly just breaks my brain.
Yeah, absolutely. And your position that you just said, very reasonable and a political position. A political stance. But you did say in the book that the less religion we have, the more divorce and cohabitation become acceptable. And why shouldn't they be? Why shouldn't divorce and cohabitation? You sound like the Alabama Supreme Court. No. Why shouldn't that be acceptable? It's 2024 to just cohabitate without marriage. Well, let me answer. Okay. The problem is, if you have a child and you have a non-biological male in the home, the incidence of sexual molestation and or abuse for that child goes up as much as 33 times normal. It goes up, depending on what kind of abuse you're talking about, it goes up 6 times normal, 10 times normal, all up and down the continuum. That doesn't happen if there's a biological parent in the home. But no, wait a minute, you can't. That's a cohabitation. You're conflating two things. You can cohabitate with someone and have children. I mean, the marriage rate in, I think, Sweden is very, very low. They live together as man and wife, but they just don't get married and they have children. That's a biological father in the home. They just don't. They don't fill out paperwork. Cohabitation, yeah. You're saying they don't fill out paperwork. Correct. But that's not what happens in a lot of situations that create this problem with a male being inside the home that is not biologically connected to the children, and that is a big issue, Bill. You can't write that off.
Mah's approach, blending comedy with social critique, draws mixed reactions, as some feel it oversimplifies or even trivializes complex issues. In contrast, Dr. Phil's earnest and traditional stance underscores the seriousness he attaches to values like faith and family. Their debate reflects deeper societal divides, with Mah's secular progressive view clashing with Dr. Phil's emphasis on foundational social structures, highlighting ongoing tensions in public discourse over the roles of religion, family, and national identity in shaping a stable society. In conclusion, Dr. Phil's exchange with Bill Mah highlights the stark divide in perspectives on society's foundation and direction. While Dr. Phil advocates for family and faith as cornerstones of societal health, Mah's dismissive stance and self-assurance in secular trends seem to overlook the fundamental social structures many argue are essential for stability. Mah's indifference to the decline of these values reflects an increasingly detached viewpoint, one that many fear could contribute more to society's unraveling than its improvement. Ultimately, this debate serves as a harsh reminder that dismissing traditional values in favor of fleeting trends could prove to be a costly misjudgment. Thank you for your attention. Please wait for the next video. We will bring you interesting videos on the most popular topics today. See you again.